Okay, the purpose of this video is to discuss the life cycle of a JavaFX application. So to that end, I'm going to create this file called lifecycle.py. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of imports here. Okay, and now so we're going to get this program running by putting in the minimum amount possible. Okay, public void start. As we learned last time, a stage is a top-level container that can sit directly on your desktop. And I'm going to say this is lifecycle JavaFX application lifecycle demo. Okay, and then I'm going to say primary.show. So if I ran this at this juncture, it would just put a window up on my screen and it would say JavaFX application lifecycle demo. Now there's more to application than just this. First of all, an application can have a constructor. And generally what I like constructors for is to initialize state. Let me give you a use case for this. You have a draw program. The draw program, to know what it's doing, needs to know what color the background is and what color the pen is currently drawing. Those two things are probably going to be application state, because you're going to want them to be visible to one or more methods in your application. So in here, let's go ahead and just put this for now. We're just going to say system.out. And I'm going to say constructor call. So you can use this to initialize state. Okay, so now the next thing is an inherited method, which by default does nothing. It's called a init. And what a init's purpose is to do anything you need to do before your application starts running. For example, if you're running a game, you might want to load the file that contains the high scores and show it at the beginning of the game. So here I'm going to say init call. Okay, then comes start. And then after start, logically enough, is stop. And now I'm going to go ahead and yank one of these lines up here, paste it in here, and I'm going to say stop call. Now stop is useful if a user clicks on the go away button and then suddenly realizes, oh no, I have files open I need to save that my application's working on. Stop can be used to provide that opportunity to make sure that everything is saved before the user closes out. Because what you don't want to do is reward a paying customer for your application with data loss. That's a very bad thing to do indeed. Okay, so here's my basic setup. And I'm going to go ahead and run this program. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and compile this program. And now I'm going to run it. Okay, so a window appeared, and it says it's constructor called, init called. And when the user hits the go away button, stop is called. And when stop returns, the application's execution terminates and the OS reclaims its memory. Now let's go back inside of here. And we're going to put a little more stuff in start than we've had. Okay? I want to put a button in the window, but to put a button in the window, we need to have some kind of a layout manager to control all that. So what we're going to do is we're going to let's first make the button. And I'll call it quit because it's just going to quit. Okay, quit. Now we might want to look in the documentation and see what's happening there. Goodbye, Apple News. I don't need you. And I'm going to go ahead and type in button here. JavaFX.scene.control.button. Okay, that's the fully qualified name of the class. And I'm going to go ahead and copy that and come upstairs here and paste it in. Okay, there's my button. Now right now I have a button. It's unrelated to my stage. There's no reason to expect the stage is going to display the button. And so we need to go through the steps necessary to get the button into the stage. One of those things we're going to do is we're going to create something called a border pane. Okay, a border pane is a pretty simple layout. Actually, a very standard application layout. You can see what it looks like. It's got a top, a left, a center, a right, and a bottom. And by default, the center is piggy. It will occupy the entire space. What we're going to do is take our button and stick it in the top of the border pane. Okay, so to make that happen, the first thing we need to do is make a border pane. Now, we need to know what to import. So we zoom up to the top of this thing and we see, JavaFX.scene.layout.borderPane. I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to paste that into my program here. Okay, and I need a semicolon on the end. So now I have my border pane. Okay, now the next thing I need to do is let's look at border pane. I want to get my button in the top. So if I go down here and look in our methods, there's something called get left, get margin. Oh, if there's a get, there's got to be a set. Look at that. Set bottom, set left, set margin, set right. Oh, set top. So I'm just going to take that button and stick it in the top of my application. So what I'm going to do here is come down here and I'm going to call border pane. And I'm going to stick the button in there. So now I have this border pane, which contains the button, but the border pane is not yet in the stage. That's the next stage of production, so to speak. And I'm going to go ahead and do that in a very simple way. I'm just going to say primary dot. It's no surprise that what goes inside of a stage is a scene. And the scene is going to be new scene. And I'm not even going to give it a name. I'm just going to make an anonymous object. And I'm going to say border pane. Say 500 and 500. Let's make it 500 by 500. Be generous with space. Okay. So we have set the scene. That means we got to pay attention to scene. We need to know what to import so the import police don't come after us. So I can see it's JavaFX.scene.scene. And I'll just do that. Little clever search and replace with Vim, and we're set. So we have all of our stuff here so far. Let's just look at it and see what the application looks like. Let's see if we compile. Uh-oh. Bad. All right. I'm missing a semicolon. Let's go ahead and do that again. Ooh, cannot find symbol B. Oh, I can see what I did wrong here. I called the button quit, and then I added B. Let's fix that. All right, that's something programmers do all the time. I call it name drift. Okay, name drift has been dispensed with. Here it is. Now you'll notice my button doesn't quit. And the reason is quite simple, because I didn't tell it to quit. So now we got to make that happen next. We're gonna get that button to be live. So what do? You go to button. Okay, let's go back to button. I really like this search mechanism. It beats the old frames page. Okay, so now we're going to go down and look in here. You're going to see, oh, there's a bunch of properties. Okay, let's go to the methods. And there doesn't seem to be anything to make it live. However, in a parent class called buttonBase, set on action. Bingo. Let's look at that. Sets the value of the property on action. Okay, the button's action, which is invoked whenever the button is fired. And it takes as argument, an event handler. Oh boy, let's go there. This looks frightening, but it's not, because wonderful, it's a functional interface. Therefore, I can use a lambda as an argument to the function set on action. So I'm going to go right ahead and do that. So I'm going to go to my button here, quit, and I'm going to say quit.set on action. Let's see, I believe does system.exit require an argument? Let's go find out. I can make a new tab here. I'm going to get the regular Java API guide. And let's look up system. Okay, java.lang.system. There's nothing to include there, by the way. And I believe there's an exit. Oh, yes, I need a status. All right. So I'm just going to say, and the status I'll feed it is 0. 0 means it executed normally, because the user quit, and that's what we expect to have happen. Okay, but there is a disadvantage to using this, and I will show you how to get around that. Okay, here it is. So when I hit the go away button, stop got called. But when I hit the quit button, oh, I don't think I compiled it. I didn't. I did not compile. My bad. All right, so let's try JavaFX lifecycle. Okay. Let's do that again. So if I hit the go away button, stop gets called. Now I'm going to run it again, but this time I'm going to hit the quit button. Stop did not get called. That can cause data loss. And so here is the thing you should do. If you're going to exit from an application, usually you want to have stop be called. And you can guarantee this in a very simple way. Instead of system.exit, call platform.exit. Now, where's platform? I'll tell you where it is. It's in JavaFX.application.application. There we go. We now have access to platform. And I think it's good manners to exit calling stop. Okay. So hitting the go away button, you know, GUI sort of expects that's going to quit you out. But now when I hit quit, stop gets called. And on a Mac, there's some kind of stupid bug. I have reported this, and I can't seem to get rid of it, but it doesn't do any harm. It just spews out a bunch of ugly hex codes into your, into your terminal session. But stop got called, and that way you can give a user an opportunity to save his files. Also, if there's any cleanup or like temporary files to be removed, stop can do those kinds of things. So stop is sort of the janitor in the life cycle. So we have the important epochs in the life cycle are the constructor. Use it to initialize state. Init. Use it to do setup. Start. This is the main loop of your application. Almost the entire time your application runs, start is running. When start returns, if you use platform.exit or if the go away button is hit, stop is called. Stop does teardown, and then once stop returns, the program's life ends. So that's the life cycle of a JavaFX program, and all these little system.outs are showing you that all the different things are running. I didn't put one in here because the appearance of the window evinces the fact that start is running. So that's the life cycle of a JavaFX program. And you also have the additional benefit of seeing a very simple scene be created. We took a button, put it inside of a border pane, put the border pane into the primary stage, and we gave the button something to do when it's clicked. So this code over here will execute when the button is clicked. Now, if you're not that familiar with lambdas, you definitely want to get familiar with them, because this kind of code is called event handling code. And event handling code is full of lambdas, and the alternative to using a lambda is it's kind of homely and ugly and very old-fashioned. You'll see it in OPC, so maybe I'll talk about it in a future video. But here's your overview of the life cycle of a JavaFX program.